So, if you can recall back to last year, I covered Saw. The unrated version of Saw came out last year for its 20th anniversary re release. And it got me thinking. They released a new Saw film every year starting in 2004. Saw in '04, Saw 2 in '05, Saw 3 in '06, so on and so forth until Saw 3D in 2010. So, we actually have another anniversary to cover in the Saw franchise. And much like what Chris Stuckman did with the Halloween movies, I figured, why not? Let's make this a tradition, shall we? My name is Daniel Strunk. Welcome to QuickTime Reactions, and welcome to the final stop in Noobs for Horror October, where I, a relative noob in the world of horror, lead you down all the winding turns in this spooky and scary road of horror. And yes, like I alluded to, we're going to be talking about Saw 2 tonight. It turns 20 years old this year. This movie, of course, stars Donnie Wahlberg, Eric Knudsen, Frankie G, Beverly Mitchell, Emmanuel Vagier. I may be pronouncing her last name wrong there. Timothy Bird, Lyric Bent, Diane Meyer, Shawnee Smith, and of course, tobinbell. And in this movie, we follow Detective Matthews, who is trying to stop the Jigsaw killer from committing more crimes. However, he is placed into his own game of trying to figure out where his son is. Now, his son is in a nerve gas house, where the house will open up in 3 hours, but in 2 hours, there will be a poison that is coming through the air vents that will kill them. So, he and this group of people have to try and get out of this house before they are slowly killed by that nerve gas. So, this movie right here is very instrumental in basically kind of creating the Saw look, the Saw feel, and basically the Saw style that will basically continue forward throughout the rest of the franchise. And that is wholly down to one man, and one man in particular, Darren Lynn Bousman. He was the man tabbed to direct this because James Wan and Lee Winnell were, I believe, getting ready to make Dead Silence at this point in 2005. I think they were starting to get the ball rolling on that, or might have been working on something else. But Lee Winnell does have a story credit on this movie, along with Bousman. So they were still very much involved with this franchise, what is slowly turning into a franchise. Now, I've seen it before. I've seen this movie before. And it was, I don't want to say in the bottom of my Saw, but it was like middle bottom, where I had it ranked. See, my original ranking was like Jigsaw, 7, 6, 3, and then 2. Because for me, what kind of held it back was, I don't know if there was anything holding it back, but there were not like any, to me, any, because I was thinking in the mind of an engineer, looking at both cop plot and trap plot. I think I was probably more focused on trap plot back when I watched these in college. But knowing what happens in this movie, I grew to have a bit more of an appreciation for this movie. And I think that's mainly because of Tobin Bell. He is awesome in this movie. Like, I think I acknowledged it when I first saw it, like I said, back in college, but I guess I never really appreciated his performance as Jigsaw until Saw 10. And by Saw 10, it was like, well, yeah, he's awesome as this character. Granted, the character is pretty reprehensible, but he plays that character very, very well. And even here, early on in the franchise, he didn't get a lot of time in the first movie, but here he really gets to shine and do his thing. And Donnie Wahlberg in this is also really, really good as well. It was also nice to see Diane Meyer return from the first movie. She had little bits and pieces in that first movie, so it was cool that she got to be included in this second one. Let's talk about trap plot, because this trap is really, really good. Nerve house that is dispersing a toxic gas that will kill someone in 2 hours, but the house opens up in 3. But there are antidotes strung about throughout the house. The first guy gets killed by putting a key into a door, and a revolver goes off in his eye. Abby gets killed in I don't want to call it a furnace, but I don't think it's an oven either. He basically gets burned alive, essentially. Who's the next one? I think Laura ends up just dying because of the gas. Let me see here. Addison sticks her hand up into the box to try and get the antidote, but she gets her wrists cut up and is basically left there to A, probably get poisoned by the gas, and B, die because, of the blood coming from her wrists. And Xavier is cut up with a saw, which is, fitting for a movie called Saw. And Jonas got a nail bat in the head for his trouble, which, that doesn't sound really, really fun. But there was one other person that I did not mention, and that is Amanda. Yes, she is back in this movie. After surviving the bear trap in the first movie, she's back in the second one, and quite possibly partakes in a trap that still gets to me now, and that's the needle pit. I don't like the needle pit. I really don't, because I despised needles when I was younger. I tolerate them now, but I still get a shiver down my spine whenever the bed comes up and all those needles are right there. And it's just, just, even me thinking about it just sends a shiver down my spine. I don't like it. So I think that's really all that I can talk about without getting into like spoilers. So if you have not seen Saw 2, then go watch it. But now we're going to go get into some spoilers. So Eric Matthews is done with, Jigsaw's talking and beats the piss out of him and basically gets him to take him to where Daniel's located, the house where he's at. Meanwhile, Amanda and Daniel are trying to get away from Xavier because he's very, very desperate in trying to like get everyone's numbers so he can open that safe and get the antidote to save him. Which I guess is another thing that I can praise this movie about. Like, Jigsaw is like the main antagonist of this movie, but there's a really good secondary antagonist with Xavier. Like, he is menacing and he's determined. Like, he will basically do anything to get an antidote to basically save his hide and his hide only. He tried, looking in Abby's hand after he failed to see if he, got an antidote out. Nope. He flung Amanda into the needle pit when it was his test. And he was just going around, getting everyone's numbers. Not killing everyone. He did kill Jonas with that nail bat, but just getting everyone's numbers. Even left Addison to, die by either gas or, the blood. But he's following Amanda and Daniel in these tunnels. And these tunnels look oddly familiar. And Amanda and Daniel get to a door that looks oddly familiar as well. Amanda opens it, and it's the bathroom from Saw 1. And, everyone's there. I say everyone, like there's, multiple people. There are multiple people in there. Adam is in there, very much dead. Zepp is there, dead. Dr. Gordon's foot is in there, sawed off. And Xavier gets into the room, and Amanda's like, you won't have all the numbers because you don't know the number in the back of your head. So Xavier takes the knife that he had and basically cuts out the portion of his neck where the number would be. And is like, I'll save that for later. And then goes to try and get Amanda and Daniel's numbers. Daniel wakes up and then cuts him in the neck with that hacksaw in the bathroom. Meanwhile, Eric Matthews is driving, trying to find the location, while Carrie and Riggs are trying to find out where the signal is being broadcasted because, of course, Jigsaw's got the Rove monitors right there. Eric Matthews gets to the house. He finds himself in the bathroom, but he gets pigged, gets stuck in the leg with drugs, and he faints. It passes out. Meanwhile, Riggs gets to a house, and he notices an exact same setup of monitors, and to his left is a VCR player. Now, for those that don't know what a VCR player is, it is basically on-demand streaming except for physical media, where you had these things called VHS tapes, and you put them in, and then you hit play, and then you watched what was on the tape. And if you wanted to watch it again, you had to rewind the tape, which took, a little bit of time, not just hitting a button to say, oh, I'll watch that again. And then it goes right back to the beginning. A lot different times 20 years ago. So they realized that the feed is not live and that the events happened a little while ago. And Eric Matthews finds himself chained up in the bathroom, and there's a tape. He presses play, and lo and behold, who's on the tape? Amanda. She is an accomplice of Jigsaw. Now, you could say that because she is an accomplice, she was able to find that tape in the beginning relatively easily because she's an accomplice. Or, having not known that twist, and you watch it for like the first time, you see that, and you're like, wait a minute, I recognize her. And then when she finds the tape immediately, she's like, you are immediately thinking, oh, that's because she was already in a trap. She would know the first thing to do is to try and find where the tape is to play it. So I think this twist works out like incredibly well in my opinion, as well as the pre-recorded footage of the gas house trap. That is absolutely awesome. And yeah, I just love this ending where Jigsaw and Amanda walk away with Eric Matthews chained up in the basement. His son Daniel, as Jigsaw said, he's in a safe place, and when the 2 hours expires, a safe opens up, and Daniel's inside, because Jigsaw did say he was in a safe place. And so I just love how this movie ended. You know, I don't even call it a zoom, it's more like the frame shrinks with Jigsaw in the van smiling as he knows he's won this game. But yeah, man, Saw 2, I have much more of an appreciation for it now. And I do think that this is better than Saw 1. The performances are absolutely awesome, with tobinbell being an absolute highlight. Traps in this, absolutely awesome. My favorite and worst in that is the needle pit, because it still makes me, shudder seeing it. Worst trap, and when I say worst trap, I mean like not as good. Probably the furnace one, because I would probably like look around and see if there was like a shut off valve for the gas, so that the gas wouldn't ignite. So that's just me. But yeah, really good traps, really good writing, and really good direction from Bousman, who would basically, take this and kind of perfect it in the next 2 movies. Because, yes, he not only directed this movie, went on to direct 3, 4, and then Spiral for the franchise, which we will cover those in future Noobs for Horror October. But yes, there you have it. Noobs for Horror October is officially done. It is in the books. Year 2 for this is now done. I want to thank you guys so much for following through the whole month. It has been fun talking about all things horror throughout the month of October. Of course, with October coming to a close, that doesn't mean horror is coming to a close, because in a couple weeks' time, Keeper is coming out, and I know that that's probably going to scare the shit out of me when I go watch that for the first time. So that'll be fun as well. But until next spooky season, guys, be safe out there. And my suggestion for, avoiding a saw trap is just be a good person. And, I think being a good person will probably keep you off of Jigsaw's radar. That's all I'm saying. And I will catch you guys next time.